Hey everybody, this is Ted Check, recovering reporter. So John Kerry, former politician John Kerry, made some statements recently at the World Economic Forum, and so right off the bat, you have to consider where he is and in whose company he's making these statements. But I refuse to be desensitized to talk like this because we're seeing it crop up more and more from one side of the aisle, and I'm sorry, but I'm just going to point it out every time I see it because the First Amendment is one of the pillars of freedom here in the United States. But now it seems it's under attack. So let's play this.
But look, if people go to only one source and the source they go to is sick and has an agenda and they're putting out disinformation, our First Amendment stands as
all right, let's just stop it right there. Sick. If one source is sick, they're putting out agenda and they have an agenda and they're putting out disinformation. Who is the arbiter of that? Who determines what source is sick? What source has an agenda? Pretty much everybody has an agenda, let's be honest. And who is to determine what's disinformation? Because we know that one person's misinformation or disinformation, whatever it is. These words are made up. They're not a thing to me. They're made up words for people who hold a certain amount of power and are wielding those words as weapons. These words have been weaponized: misinformation, disinformation, malinformation. So you use those words, you label something as such, and then you can go after it. All right, let's continue here.
A major block to the ability to be able to just as a major block.
So he says the First Amendment
has an agenda, and they're putting out disinformation. Our First Amendment stands as a major block to the ability to be able to just, hammer it out of existence.
The First Amendment is not a block. The First Amendment is an integral part of what it means to be an American. It's freedom of speech, freedom to assemble, I believe, and freedom of the press. So those things are that is inherently part of what it means to be an American. It's a pillar of freedom. You can't take that away, and it's not a block. It's an enhancement. It's just part of what makes us American. This is just I can't. Well, I want to say that I can't believe it. I can believe it in one sense that I'm hearing it, but in another sense I can't. It's just very disturbing and a major concern.
So what we need is to win the ground, win the right to govern by hopefully having winning enough votes that you're free to be able to implement change. Now, obviously, there are some people in our country who are prepared to.
See, they tried that already. The federal government tried that already when they tried to influence, and I think did successfully, X or when it was Twitter, and also Facebook. There were certain arms of the government that were able to extend their power over these, big tech, and to get them to silence or at least seriously curtail the postings of that tended to be on the conservative side. So this is what he's talking about. More of that, I believe, is what he's talking about.
Implement change in
wrong
ways, and
so they just label it as change. They just throw it under the this blanket statement. They hide it. It's masquerading as change.
You're questioning really if democracy can survive unregulated social media.
I think democracies are very challenged right now.
See, and then they talk about democracy. That's another word that's been weaponized. Well, we don't live in a democracy. We live in a representative republic. We're not a democracy. Okay. We have people who represent us, but they use this word democracy. So and then they say that, well, anything that you say that's against the democracy is wrong. See, it's another word that's been weaponized. So yeah, very concerning, very chilling, very disturbing. But it's a trend that I've been noticing. So here we have the vice president hopeful, Tim Walz. It's the Harris-Walz ticket on the Democrat side. He has said no guarantee to free speech on misinformation or hate speech, and especially around our democracy. See, again, he's using the word democracy. So he is he's attempting to poke holes in the First Amendment. The First Amendment does, in fact, he's entirely 100% wrong. The First Amendment does, in fact, guarantee free speech on misinformation or hate speech. Hate speech, another weaponized word, yet again. Democracy, yeah. So he's entirely 100% wrong. It's the direct opposite of what he's saying. The First Amendment is the guarantee to free speech on misinformation or hate speech. So this, I'm not the only one. Here's Sean Ryan, and he's on the Joe Rogan Experience.
You know, I just hope this turn around. I do too, but I don't think it turns around if Kamala Harris gets into office. I think they clamp down more. I think the same stuff that they were trying to do with Twitter, they'll try to do with something else and with other things. They've already openly discussed it. You know, she's openly discussed that the same rules have to apply to Facebook, they have to apply to Twitter, and that Elon Musk could lose his privileges, and like there's so many wild things that they're saying.
Yeah. Again, very concerning. So Joe Rogan has picked up on that. Okay, I already went over that. Let's see, what else do we have here? So John Kerry, no stranger to uncorking some really oddball stuff. I'm not even really going to get into the whole Swift boat thing. You guys can look into that whole controversy back when he was attempting to run for president. But this other thing, this is one of my favorite photos of all time. Help us, John Kerry. We are stuck here in Iraq. The reason the troops, these soldiers, put this whole thing together was because John Kerry said, he told a group of college students that people who don't study and do their homework were likely to get stuck in Iraq. And that prompted his apology. He had to apologize for that because that was truly a botch. He botched a joke meant to be about President Bush. I don't see that at all, but it was just horrible. And I used to have this. I made a copy of this photo, and I used to have it in my cubicle back when I was a reporter because I loved it so much. So the guy's no stranger to uncorking some really oddball stuff. He's very brazen and misguided. Just terribly misguided. So the First Amendment appears to be under attack right now, and so those of you who value it need to hold fast and point this stuff out. I mean, certainly I will. I'm not asking anybody else to do what I'm doing, but point it out when we see it because it needs to be brought to light. This just, that this is what's out there, and I'm just making you guys aware of that. Thanks so much for your time. I appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you later.